City Learners TV, learning made simple. Welcome back to class. This video is the continuation of the law of indices, which I had posted earlier. Previously, I have talked about the product law, I've talked about the quotient law, and two other laws, making four. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the remaining four laws that make up the 8 laws of indices. And in case you have not watched the first four, I'd like you to please go back to my previous video and just make sure you watch for better understanding. Okay, the fifth law of indices is called the power of quotient. The power of quotient. And this law simply states that you have two factors or two numbers dividing each other in a bracket and having a power outside the bracket. It simply means that the numbers dividing each other in the bracket, of course, the numerator, the number above, and the denominator both have the power. So the power is to be given to both the numerator of the quotient and the denominator of the quotient. And that is what I have written right here. And how do we do that? You simply write your numerator, giving it the power outside the bracket, and the denominator, giving it the power outside the bracket. And I think there is a mistake in the writing here. It should be written this way. B, having the power of n. Let's assume you are asked to solve uh, 2 over 3 having the power of 2. How do you solve that? You simply say that 2 over 3 having the power of 2 equals to, we are separating the numerator and the denominator now, giving them their powers. 2 being the numerator having the power of 2, and at the same time 3 being the denominator having the power of 2, because they both have rights to this power. So how do I solve this now? 2 raised to power 2 means that 2 is multiplied by itself 2 times. 2 is multiplied by itself 2 times. The number of times 2 is multiplied by itself is what we write as its power. So 2 multiplied by 2 all over 3 also is multiplied by itself 2 times. That is 3 multiplied by 3. 2 times 2 is equal to 4, and 3 times 3 is equal to 9. So we can simply say that 2 over 3 having the power of 2 equals to 4 over 9. I'll quickly move to the next law. That is the sixth law. The sixth law is called the zero index law. The zero index law. What does that mean? Any non-zero number that has a power of 0, any non-zero number that has the power of 0 is simply equal to 1. In the case of this example I gave on the board, A being a non-zero number having the power of 0 equals to 1. That simply means that A does not equals to 1. This is the worked example. So 2 raised to power 0. 2 is a non-zero number. So the answer is simply 1. 2 raised to power 0 is 1. Let's assume you are given 100 having the power of 0. 100 is a non-zero number. So 100 raised to power 0 is simply 1. So that is that about the sixth law. Now we have the seventh law, which is called the negative index law. The negative index law simply means the reciprocal. And what matters in applying this law when you are solving mathematics, when you are solving indices, is that you should be able to know the arrangement. Look at the example given here. We have A having a negative power, negative index. A having a negative power. How do you go about it? What we usually do is this, which is the best way to understand the negative index law. Take this subtraction sign, this minus, which I circle here, take it to be 1 over. I repeat, this minus sign, this subtraction sign, take it to be 1 over. And let's assume you have taken the minus sign. What do you have left here? A raised to power n. So simply carry that a to power n, put it under the division line, this over, to have 1 over a raised to power n. Now, this is the worked example for better understanding. Solve 3 having the power of minus 2. Solve 3 having the power of minus 2. How do you go about this? Please don't forget the arrangement I just explained here. What you need to do is take your minus, which is here, as let me rewrite the equation. 3 raised to power minus 2. Take this minus, which is here, take this minus to be 1 over. And then, having taken the minus, what do you have left? 3 raised to power 2. This is 3 raised to power 2. And this will simply means 1 over 3 raised to power 2 is 3 multiplied by itself 2 times. And that simply means that 3 raised to power minus 2, being our question, equals to what? 1 over 3 times 3, 9. So 3 raised to power minus 2 is simply 1 over 9. Now, the 8th law of indices is called the fractional index law. The fractional index law. And it simply means that you have a given number with a power of fraction. How is it arranged? Draw your root sign, the first step. Second step, pick the given number, put it inside the root. And then let's come to the power, which is a fraction. A fraction always have numerator and denominator. So pick the number below, which is the denominator, put it outside the root sign, and then the numerator here, which is 1, put it as the power of the given number inside the root sign. The reason why I did not put this one here is because a raised to power 1 is a, 2 raised to power 1 is 2, 3 raised to power 1 is 3. So whether you put it or not, it doesn't make any difference. So let's look at the worked examples. Let's assume you are given to solve 8 having the power of this fraction 1 over 3. 8 having fractional power 1 over 3. How do we solve it? Don't forget the arrangement I just explained here. What you simply need to do is to arrange your work properly in such a way that solving will not be a problem, and that is what I explained here. We have 8 base, and then we have power of 1 over 3. Simply draw your root sign, the first step. The given number here is 8, which is the base. Put it inside. And then come to the power of 8, which is fraction 1 over 3. 1 is the numerator and 3 is the denominator. Take the numerator, which is 1, put it here. But don't forget, 8 raised to power 1 is the same thing as 8. So whether you put 1 or not, it's still 8 that is inside. Then the denominator, put it outside here. What are you expected to do next? Now, this 3 here simply means the cube root of the number inside. What do I mean by the cube root? It simply means, what is that number that when you multiply that number by itself 3 times, we give you the number you have inside. And that number that when we multiply it 3 times, that number is 2. You can start from multiplying 1. 1 times 1 times 1. It must be 3 times. 1 times 1 times 1. That will give you 1, not 8. So that is not correct. We move to 2 multiplication table. You said 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. You can see that 2 is that number that when you multiply it by itself 3 times, you get 8. Please take note of this. The number of times you must multiply that very number we are looking for must be equal to the value you put outside the root sign. In the case of this example, we are looking for a number that when we multiply it by itself 3 times will give us 8. and that number is simply 2. Meaning that if I multiply 2 by itself 3 times, 2 times 2, that gives me what? 4. Multiply by 2, 4 times 2, that is 8, giving me the number inside. And how many times have I multiplied it? 1, 2, 3 times, based on the value I have outside the bracket. That is the cube root of 8. You don't need to write the number of times you multiply the 2. All you are looking for is the 2, which is being multiplied 3 times to get this 8. And that is that about the laws of indices. In a subsequent video, we will give you more worked examples, but I encourage you, open your math textbooks, look for related questions, and solve on your own. I would like you to subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell, share and comment. Let us know how you feel about this class. Thank you very much for always coming to educate yourself on this channel, City Learners TV. Thank you very much. Bye.